Welcome to episode 8 of our Game of Thrones vlog called No One. And you know what that's referring to. I really liked this episode. It was quiet, but it had like so much character in it. I was just so happy. Number 1, the Hound again.
I love the Hound.
I'm so glad he's back. Every scene with him has been a delight.
I just love him on like the hunt, just like walking around with an axe. And he comes across them, and the 3 guys are gonna be hung by these other guys, and he's like, I want them.
And then they have this whole bargaining thing
of how many he gets to kill.
And so they're like, yes, we're following the Lord of Light, and we're working for a higher purpose. And the Hound's like, fuck no.
Their appearance, though, kind of alluded to possibly the Lady Stoneheart plot.
I almost feel like it's not necessary, though, like, because, you know, you already have Sansa doing her thing. Like, she's kind of taking the place of Lady Stoneheart, I feel.
I don't know, it could be kind of funny, though. Like, because we've seen, like, good resurrection now, wouldn't it be funny to see a bad one?
Oh shit, that should not have come back.
Because they've talked about just like, oh, you know, some people shouldn't come back, like early in the very beginning of the season when he asked Melisandre to do it, she's like, no, I've seen it go wrong. And it's like, oh no, but Jon's fine, ha ha ha. How great would it be if like the season ends with like a zombified Catelyn Stark just being like, I am so ready to fuck shit up.
Oh, God.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Just be like, great, another thing.
I feel like, can we get to the fucking White Walkers, guys? Can we please?
No. CGI cost a lot more money.
Should have thought of that when they freaking started.
I don't know if they thought they were gonna go this long, actually.
Kind of like want the Hound to kind of join up with the Brotherhood, because you're like, hey, you kind of need somebody to have your back out there. But on the other hand, you really just want to see him go on his way and murder his way across Westeros. And the other pairing that will break your fucking heart, Brienne and Jaimie.
The best friends. God, their scenes were hard to watch for me, because it's like, they clearly like love each other so much, but they know they're gonna be on opposite ends of the conflict.
And it breaks your heart.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, where did this relationship come from? Because it's so freaking powerful, but all they did was really like walk to the King's Landing, and one of them lost a hand, but you know, they like need each other, and it's just, and they're like staring at each other across the line, and you're just like, oh my heart.
I'm so happy Tormund wasn't there, because he would have just been like, Jaime wouldn't have lived.
No. And like, they're just like so focused on each other's eyes too. Tormund wouldn't have been even in the room to them. It was just, kudos to the actors, okay?
And so Brienne wants to go talk to the Blackfish, and she makes a deal with Jaime. It's like, okay, if I get the Blackfish to break the siege to come and help Sansa, you will let them pass. And Jaime's like, okay. And so she goes to talk to the Blackfish, and the Blackfish is like, hell no, this is my home. Yes, okay, Sansa, she's very much like her mother, but I have to, like, this is my home. And so Brienne is kind of stuck in this castle when Jaime plays his trump card.
Convincing Edmure to go in and make them lay down their arms. And like,
that was an intense scene.
Oh, that was an intense scene. Because, you know, Jaime goes in as like just kind of a dick. Like, basically like, just like, listen to me. I do not give a fuck about you. I do not give a fuck about your kid. I just want to go fucking home. So you can either walk in there and make them lay down their arms and save slaughter and kill your pride, or I can do my worst to you and
catapult your dead baby over the walls of the castle.
And yeah, so what do you got? And so Edmure walks in, and he makes the men lay down their arms, and Brynden Blackfish is just like,
well, I haven't really had to fight with the sword for a while, so let's go embarrass myself. And he like gets Bran and Pod out, and I'm just like, oh, I like the Blackfish.
I know.
I like him so much.
I know.
And like Jaime's up on the walls, and he sees Brienne's boat going away, and he just kind of sadly waves, and I'm just like, oh, my heart.
And I'm like, Brienne, don't diss him, just wave back, and she does. And it's so sad. And I mean, too, they had this conversation before where she's like, listen, okay, we're gonna make this deal. Oh, by the way, here's your sword back. And he's like, no, I gave that to you, it's yours. And you just kind of like, oh.
Because they know the next time they're meeting, they're probably gonna be meeting on the battlefield on opposite sides of a conflict.
And yeah, and she says that to him too. She's like, you know, like, I'm an honorable person, and if I go in there and they don't lay down their arms, I'm going to have to stay and fight for Sansa's kin. And he's like, let's just conquer that when we get to it. I'm just glad it didn't happen now, because that would have ripped me
She
apart.
would totally destroy him.
She would.
He's a good swordsman, but he's nowhere as good as he used to be, and she's freaking phenomenal, so, like... And she's a brutal fighter, if you remember her fight with the Hound.
Yeah.
Like...
I kind of put that to the back of my mind, but...
Arya.
Oh,
Arya gets patched up by Miss Fisher, and Miss Fisher gets to get put on the show one last time with the amended lines of her getting angry, and, like, you know, the crowd is just crying, and it's, like, so intense.
Even I kind of like choked up a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's really kind of sad.
And so she nurses Arya, and she's like, come with us, you know, you can be an actress, you have to start somewhere, don't stay here. Who's after you? And she's like, well, no one's after me, and she kind of knows.
She gets it.
Yeah.
She knows that there's someone after her, but...
And then Waif shows up.
And, like, brutally murders her.
Like, if you had done your job, this would have been painless. And oh, I just wanted to kick her teeth in. That entire chase sequence, she's such, like, a prideful little brat.
No, it's not even that. She's like the Terminator.
Oh, it's so... Oh,
She's like the Terminator in the first one, where no matter what you throw at her, she just keeps moving forward.
Arya's running, and she's bleeding out, and she's running, and she's falling, and she's running, and she gets to this dungeon, and...
Where she's stored her sword.
Yeah, and the Waif comes in and she pulls out the sword and she's like, you know that's not gonna stop me. And then Arya just like...
slashes the candle.
And so this is where it became kind of open to interpretation for me, because like it cuts to like Jaqen walking through and seeing the face on the wall, and I'm like...
Whose face is that?
Did Arya actually get out? Or is this like... the Waif with Arya's face to go.
Yeah, really.
And that, like, the entire internet's like, oh, I'm so happy she killed her. I'm like, did she though?
Did she really?
Did she? Because Jaqen looks... I know Jaqen could be very proud, being like, look, I taught her a lesson that she can't hide behind other people, and she has to, like... But is he? It's like, did he just, like, put a very strategically placed assassin? And so that has been eating me up for, like, 5 days.
I'm pretty sure that it is Arya, because he's like, a girl is finally no one, and she's like, no, I am Arya Stark, right?
I don't know, man, she wasn't, like, she was pretty bloodied up, like, she had wounds and she was walking fine, like, her stab wounds and everything, like, it's really kind of freaking ambiguous.
I'm choosing to believe that Arya survived, because I think the world would be so pissed. She needs to get back to Westeros and get in on this game, because so far she's just been learning the skills she needs. But so anyways, when Miss Fisher was alive, they had this whole conversation about where Arya will go, and she's like, well, I kind of want to figure out what's west of Westeros. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, let's do this.
Varys and Tyrion are splitting up.
That broke my heart a little bit too.
I
was
love
just like,
those two together. I love him being like, well, can you please leave? Because if I'm going to disappear mysteriously, I can't have the most famous imp in the city walking beside me. Like, the most famous imp in the world. And I'm like, you go, Tyrion!
I get the sense that they do. They really, like, enjoy each other's company, and they, you know, care about each other in a platonic way.
And Tyrion finally breaks down some of the walls between Missandei and Grey Worm and him. And, like, I loved Grey Worm being so offended that the other two don't believe he knows what a joke is. And, of course, when everything looks fine, surprise, the Masters are back and sieging the city.
And you're just like, oh, can you not? And so they're standing there and they hear this pounding on the ceiling, and they're just like, shit, what the hell is that? Because they're in the giant pyramid at the very, very top, and it's supposed to be impenetrable. And then the guards go out and, like, check to see what's going on, and then all of a sudden they just kneel down, and in walks Daenerys, and you're like,
Mad as hell.
I feel like she's just mad at the guys out
It's like,
there.
I left you guys, though. I left you to take care of my city, and...
You should have been here this morning. Things were fine. I'm glad she's finally getting back. Take your dragons, burn everything, and then get on a ship.
The big thing with Cersei in this episode is she turns down the sparrows, because the sparrows show up. It's like, oh, the High Sparrow wants to speak with you. And she's like, nope, you said I could stay here. And the sparrows are like, well, no, this is an order you have to go with. She's like, nope, staying here. And then the zombie mountain just pummels one of the sparrows. And so they kind of like...
He rips the guy's head off.
And so then she's planning on trial by combating her problem. But Tommen... totally being edged on by the High Sparrow, makes a decree that trial by combat is not a thing that's going to happen anymore because, you know...
It doesn't prove anything.
And I'm like, I agree with you, but just... Oh,
you stupid puppet king.
Yeah. This is a step in the right direction, but oh, it's for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I know. I felt mad for Cersei. Like, she's in one of those situations where you just feel really trapped and you just want to scream at the person. Like, what the hell do you think you're doing? I felt bad for her for once.
Should have listened to the Queen of Thorns when the Queen of Thorns said, "Get out."
Yeah. So yeah, her and Loris's trial is got a set date.
But yeah, we have a big thing coming up. Jon Snow versus Ramsay Bolton.
Is this gonna be that part in the article where Jon Snow kind of dresses like a samurai and goes down under a whole bunch of men?
I would assume so, yes.
And when I say goes down, I mean like he gets like dogpiled.
Yeah.
Not like that.
So do you have any predictions?
Ramsay Bolton's head comes off.
I think he's gonna live. He's gonna live. I've just given up. And if he dies, I'll be like, great, my prediction was wrong. It was the one prediction I want to be wrong about. But at this point in the game, he's alive and he's gonna, like, decimate Jon Snow's army.
Nothing gets you angrier than Ramsay Bolton, so why would they kill him off? Look at that face. Just want to punch it.
This was my evil gift to Chelsey.
Ramsay's fucking Bolton. So yeah. Basically, that is this episode. And
Yeah.
we have how many left?
2.
God, this is done by so fast.
It has.
It has not been as painful as I keep expecting it to
I
be.
have not been mad.
No, there's like one episode where I'm like, this is kind of boring. Okay. Okay, Game of Thrones. Good job. That is our vlog about this episode, and we will see you guys later.